Okay, so this video is strictly for my notes. So it's really just a message to myself, and it's about figuring out a way to explain this. So I have a business philosophy of the way I think a business should be structured. And I kind of just want to document this now, uh, before seems like before. So like if I present it later on and it grows, like I just want them earmarked to go. I presented this information. I've developed this over a while. It goes through my study of leadership. And in leadership, I kind of subscribe to the servant leadership method, which is not particularly taught. I think right now, motivational or inspirational leadership is what's taught right now as the primary, because it offers good metrics. The servant leadership is kind of a oxymoron. It confuses a lot of people with how it works, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, I do want to point out before I start, this is my preferred method of leadership. There are constraints that would cause you to use other types of leadership in very specific cases. So I'm not saying this is a one size fits all. Like there's extreme cases. Say if you're working for a company or you're put in charge of a company or in charge of people within that company, and that company gets like hostile taken over, hit with a lot of regulations, right? And like your goal is for the company to survive. There are types of leadership that, better benefit that scenario, that allow you for quick, fast execution. Not my preferred setup, but I'm not denying that those are useful at certain times. Not besides the point. Just wanted to say that. So, servant leadership. I was thinking about describing this from the top down and like talking about how most people go into management and then explain that. But I think I'll start from the bottom up, like right from the core foundation. It's like at the front line of any company are the people who make the money. Like, so whatever the product is, the people making that product are making the money. Now, it might be distributing the product, might be putting the product together, might be a physical product, might not be a physical product. Might be the salespeople that are selling a product that you had previously developed, whatever. But the point is, management, like if I'm in charge of the people making the product, is I should have one and only goal, and that's to make product, whatever that product may be. So then that's where the first point of leadership comes in. If I'm in charge of the people making the product, the way I see servant leadership is I am there to serve the people who are making the product. And what does that mean? That means I remove any obstacles that take away from them making the product. Now that could be personal obstacles. That could be coworker obstacles. That could be supply obstacles. That could be regulation obstacles. That could be training obstacles. So it is my job, if I'm in charge of these people, to remove those obstacles. So sometimes that is me training them, that is me counseling them, or facilitating a conversation, holding them accountable, going and getting the material they need, fighting the regulations that keep them from proceeding, all these things. And that's what I mean by servant leadership. And I think that progresses up all the way through a company, all the way to the top. If everybody's serving the person below them, then they're removing all the barriers to making money. That's, to me, as you go up, you serve at a higher level of removing those barriers. And that's really the basis of it. And now I will kind of go back into it. Like a lot of people get that confused. They think going up in management and leadership, those two are very different words, which we may discuss sometime. But a lot of people think as they go up, they're meant to dictate the work, right? And I think this is where a lot of companies get a lot of fat and where you start getting all these problems with people not actually making the parts and stuff that, or the product that they're supposed to be making, because the managers and the people in charge push work down. They push extra work down on eventually to the people that make the product. So now, instead of making the product, they're making the reports that tell about how they're making the product. And I mean, it's really that simple, right? If you are not making product and you are not removing barriers to making product, you are creating friction. Like, and that friction is stopping the company from making product. As simple as that. If you're in a leadership position in that company, your job is to serve the people making the product. And the more people that can make product, the more efficient they can make the product, the more product the company makes, and the more profitable the company makes. And that gets back to the other key point that I believe that I've been weighing out for a long time. I think it's worked in every scenario I could think of thus far. That is, I believe every person in the company should be able to explain how they make the company money. Now, you're probably immediately thinking, like, I know a bunch of people that don't make the company money, right? And that comes back to the other part. I think that's a non-functioning or improperly functioning company with a lot of friction, right? I think every department within a company can and should be able to tell the company how they make the company money. And if they can't, then what are they doing? They're creating friction, which is keeping the company from making money. And I've done this in a lot of cases. It's very easy at the bottom level, the people making the money or making the product, they are directly connected to the part that makes the money. As you go up, it gets a little harder and a little harder. One of the fun examples I have is the safety guy. You know, safety guys don't make money. All they do is stop work. That gets into another contradiction. I see a lot of safety people use safety to stop work. There's a really cool story where Matt Damon's talking about speaking to Tom Cruise. He was talking about one of the scenes he did in one of the Missions Impossibles, and you should look it up because it's really funny. But he asked him, he gets to the point like, how'd you get him to let you do that? Like, so basically he brought it up to the safety guy and told him exactly what he wants to do. I think it was one of the ones where he's running down the building or something, and laid it out, had it all in detail. And then the safety guy was like, you can't do that. Like, that's incredibly unsafe. So Matt Damon asked him, like, because we know he put it in the movie. He's like, so what did you do? And Tom Cruise goes, well, I got another safety guy. And that's the core of this thought. Like, there's a lot of people cheering right now, like, yeah, screw the safety guy. He always wants to stop the work. We just want to get the work done. That's where I think there's a core fundamental problem with safety people. Safety people should be there to facilitate work in a safe manner. But back to that same problem is they cause friction. Like, you can't do this because this is unsafe. Can't do this because this is unsafe. But then they kind of hide behind that and don't have the technical knowledge to go, oh no, I understand we need to do this. We can't do it this way. We can do it this way, and this way is safer. That's just a little switch. And now that safety person just went from being a manager who is managing safety and keeping the company safe into being a servant leader. He is still keeping the company safe, but he is also serving the productivity of the company. And that guy can evaluate his contribution to the company. So that's what I mean by that. And I haven't exhaustively gone through every department that I could think of, but I have been building that into a core thesis around a business. Those two things coupled together, I think if you can nail those with the right culture, you have a very lean, not the buzzword lean, but like a not so top heavy, bloated decision making company process. And that's really the core of it. Like, you would think it would be more, but I think if you nail those aspects of it, there's so much stuff that comes with it. Autonomy, ease of decision making, like all these things, they all spring from those four elements. So, point is, not point. I've noticed I say stuff like that when I'm at a pause. Maybe it's just better if I pause. But I wanted to document that, and now I have all that out. Maybe in a year or so, I can revisit that and be able to refine on that with some more examples of why that works. But I haven't found a way it doesn't work yet. So anyway, thank you.